and the supporters, and finally, after many months out, unluckily, you were back last week. Kind of, how was that for you? Must have been a really emotional moment.
Yeah, it was. It was obviously a long time coming, nearly 2 years. And I had a good month like building up to it, playing twos cricket and stuff, and getting more confidence back in the body as well. But just the feeling being out there with the lads again was just unbelievable.
Quite a confident guy, but I presume there were quite a lot of nerves there in your first ball and your first over.
Yeah. Well, I said it to Fletch when I had an interview with him after one of the days. But I'm always a bit nervous before the first ball of any game, really. But obviously there's a bit extra on this one. But like I said, I had the confidence back in my body. It was just about landing that first ball and then getting back into what I do best, really.
Must have been a special moment as well, returning to Old Trafford. That was your first game back, kind of at your boyhood county. Yeah,
it was. It's obviously an hour away from home for me, so going back there is always good, and putting a decent performance in obviously means a lot as well. So yeah, it was just, again, good to be back out there.
Yeah, and it was a very decent performance. Took quite a few wickets and then performed well with the bat. You must have been really happy with your return, not only with the ball, which is your primary focus, but then to pass that follow-on target in quite an emphatic fashion, smashing the ball into all stands. You must have been really pleased with that.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. I walked out when we needed probably another 50 or something, me and Chappie, and that's all we kept saying. We just needed to dig in and get ourselves another couple of points, and as well as passing the follow-on, because we knew it would have made it a very tough task for Lancs to beat us, having passed that, which obviously it turned out to be. But yeah, I've probably been able to work on my batting more than my bowling over the last couple of years, so good to see some rewards from that as well. Yeah,
it must have been a really tough time mentally these last 2 years. I can't really imagine how you kind of processed that, being close to coming back and then another setback and another setback. I know you said to Fletch that you were potentially concerned at one point that you may never play again. So what was that 2 years out like for you?
Yeah, obviously it wasn't the easiest, and it's more frustrating having to watch all the lads go out there and not being able to help properly without it getting out there. But I'm not the type who'd let it hit me as hard as it probably would seem. And I think all the squad, all the lads, all the coaching staff, like everyone around the club helped me so much in staying sane, really. Spent a lot of time in the gym and on the physio bed. But yeah, it was obviously a tough time, but just happy to be back now.
Yeah, and looking forward to the next couple of weeks. We've only got one more first-class game before the T20 break, but the squad's in a good position in the table. Again, the resilience shown at Lancashire to defy a good bowling attack in the end and come out with the draw points. The squad's in a very healthy place, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think we're sitting second. I think we're 10 points clear of third, so a good result this week will put us at the halfway mark in a very strong position, and that's kind of what we're aiming to do. I know there's a little bit of, we're obviously going to push for a victory this week to put us in as strong a position as possible.
I think finally as well, just the coaching staff love you, supporters love you, just being back in and around the lads in the dressing room, kind of, you look a happy-go-lucky guy, just love being around. It must be great just for everyone for you to be back. Yeah,
it's just amazing. I think it's given everyone a bit of energy as well, probably come at the right time of the season as well, going into the last couple of games before the T20s. It's definitely given me a lot of energy, not that I need it anymore. But yeah, it's just great to be around everyone properly and contributing again.
Following on, and the good news or the bad news, depending on which side of the fence you're sitting, is that it's dry at the moment. It did rain overnight, which was slightly unexpected. So really, what can you expect? But the forecast has improved slightly, but then again, I'm not sure they know what they're talking about. I don't.
Got a hard challenge early, that one.
Matt Cole
from the weather forecasters.
BBC Radio Kent alongside. I was stealing a living. Yeah. The number of times I've been to a cricket ground that, it's going to be a washout today, and you get on, or it's going to be glorious, and at 4 o'clock it starts to chuck it down.
My favourite get-out phrase from the weather forecasters is, well, it's raining, it's very hard to predict.
Yes, Yeah.
So there we are.
It's a natural phenomenon.
But they're probably absolutely right. They're just doing their best, but, you know. Yeah, I think, I don't know, from the forecast, it looks like any showers we get will be fleeting and not game-ending.
It feels like that, doesn't it? It feels like that.
It's up to Derbyshire to end the game before time for a victory, and Kent to end the game by batting and batting and batting, and probably then batting some more, I would imagine, after that to save a draw. It's going to take a lot of character from Kent. Still a flattish pitch, though. Derbyshire will need to work hard too.
Timekeeping is either very tardy at Radio Derby, where I'm still hearing Pink Floyd, or here at the ground, where we're about to start.
Love their cricket, those boys.
One of them is invested in Bolton Wanderers. Zach Chappell from the City, and all that's up in the air, and the wicket falls first. Delivery of the day. It's taken by Brooke Guest. Zach Chappell strikes. But doesn't look massively happy with the decision, but he's on his way, and Kent to 157 for 4 now. And the man who looked like he might be important is walking back to the... He's still not happy. Is walking back to the pavilion. 157 for 4, still trailing by 104.
I'm not sure what he's taken issue there with Turanda Miaye, unless he's saying that the ball has come off his arm rather than his glove or his bat. But, yeah, taking long looks back at the umpires. But first ball, what the scorecard will tell you is he's out. And that's the first wicket for Derbyshire, and that is an early blow for Kent. As you said, he's on 55 to start today. Turanda Miaye, he's already gone. And, well, if they had the cartoon duck with the steam coming out of his ears, it's not a duck, but certainly the steam is coming out of Turanda Miaye's ears as he heads for the boundary. Worst possible start for Kent. Best possible start for Derbyshire. They need effectively.
It looks like the toe end of his bat from the replay I've seen on the big screen. We're going to get one now on the stream.
Can't see from square.
No. Slow it down, Matt, and play it from front on. That would be there we go. Well, that's not been slapped. It can't have come off anything else,
No,
can
it?
it?
Can. He's just holding his right hand up, isn't he?
Yeah.
As if to say.
Straight away, he was saying, I haven't touched it. We can see the catch. We don't need that slowing down. That was straight into the hands of Brooke Guest. At least they didn't do it during the bulletin. Would be my the only good thing that's happened there, other than Derbyshire have taken one of the 6 wickets /7 that they need to force a victory here, and what a bonus that is. Chris Benjamin is the new batter. Zach Chappell now has 2 for 43 here in the second innings. We're speaking to Heidi fairly soon to update BBC Radio Derby listeners, and I'm sure they will be delighted. They have no reason not to be. And here is Benjamin's first delivery, only the second of the day. Full delivery, and Benjamin keeps it out. Does well, gets down on it. It's always difficult for a new batter when they... just turn the effects microphone down a touch because it's very windy out there. Lewis Rees warming up. Mid-on. No, not at mad-on. At mid-on. 2 for 43 for Zach Chappell. What's topped? It's Sean, not Heidi. Who knew? Next delivery from Chappell's left alone by Benjamin. That was a quick delivery from Chappell. Next delivery is pushed up to mid-on. I've been ignored. Ball pushed up to mid-on. 157 for 4. Here comes Chappell again in and bowls a short delivery. Benjamin just flexes his knees, ducks underneath it. Ball goes through to Brooke Guest. First over comes to an end. What an over it's been for Derbyshire. Wicket maiden to begin the day's play for Zach Chappell. He gets a little pat on the back here from Brooke Guest, as you might expect. The good news is that the Sussex bus has arrived. I understand there were 1 or 2 issues with the Sussex bus this morning, but the Sussex bus is here. That is good news for everybody. It's going to be Lewis Rees to bowl from the racecourse end. Dream start, says Reenan. Absolutely right, Reenan. Dream start. Anthony's pleased with the weather by the look of it. It's next to the floodlight pylon, Anthony. Yes, the Kent bus, that's exactly what I mean, Henry, thank you. Shoulder is a suggestion that it might have come off his shoulder. The Mayeye dismissal, for those who've been analysing it, is Rees is in. It's the Kent bus, not the Sussex bus, by the way, that's arrived. Otherwise, the wrong bus has come to the wrong ground. First ball from Rees is pushed out.
Oh, it is here, is it?
Yes, it's just arrived. It's just arrived. I was slightly confused because no update at 11 o'clock, which is outrageous, and emails will be sent. Not in the bulletin. I have no idea why. They've taken a wicket with the first ball of the day. And normally I say, yeah, we're in the first over, nothing's happening.
Yeah, the one time.
One time I've had an opportunity to say something's happening, and I didn't get the opportunity to say it. Here comes Rees again, around the wicket to leaning, or rather reaches for that one outside the off stump. It's fielded there by Pat Brown. And there's no run. 157 for 4, nothing added since the resumption of play this morning. Still 104 runs behind Kent. 2 slips in place. A man to close catching extra cover. Close-ish, certainly, Martin Anderson. And Rees is in again around the wicket. That one is driven down the ground for 4 runs. Nice shot by Leaning. Good to see some defiance. He didn't score many runs yesterday, it's fair to say. He began the day on 12, but he's now moved up to 16 off 63 balls. 161 for 4, and the deficit is exactly 100. It was a nice shot from Jack Leaning. Just punched it down the ground. As Rees is ready to come in again. Bowls to Leaning, who leaves this one alone outside the off stump to go through to Brooke Guest. Not a whole heap of cricket being played today. A number of games finished yesterday, including wins for Leicestershire against Lancashire and Glamorgan against Middlesex. The eyes of the second division, the ones that aren't here, are on Wantage Road, where they had that surprise declaration yesterday. And Northampton, during their second innings, are 179 for 4. They lead by 269. And they've been mindful of the weather, I'm sure, as to when they might pull out and set Gloucestershire a target. Next delivery from Rees is defended into the onside. Fielded by David Lloyd. And there is no run. We've got some close analysis.
Just looking, yeah.
So I was getting indications from Somebody down the hallway that it might have been off his shoulder. Mayea, in which case he's been a bit unfortunate. That one is beaten, leaning outside the off stump. Just went for a defensive shot, not taken cleanly by Brookguest, who's now standing up to make sure that Leaning doesn't move out of his crease, but he didn't take it cleanly anyway. And the over comes to an end. 2 gone today. 161 for 4. Kent still trailing by 100. Benjamin has faced 5 deliveries and is yet to get off the mark. When you could see why it was given, as they say.
From the front on, as it looks. There is a deflection, certainly. But, yeah. I think it's fair to say Kent will need an amount of fortune today to save this game. In any case, they just may not have had it on the first ball of the day. Benjamin leaves it outside the off stump. I'm going to go back to his massive stand with Grant Stewart. 264, I think it was, a record for the 8th wicket. If he can do that with Leaning, they'll be at 425 for 4 at that point. So they'll have a lead of 160 odd. So I wonder if Kent would declare in the last.
That'd be brave,
last session.
Not going to get 10 wickets in a session.
160. Well, don't know. They'd love a win. This is defended up to mid-on. There's no run. It's as simple as that. They just need a record stand.
Yes.
The game is at least saved, if not putting some pressure on Derbyshire. All right, they're staring down the barrel, but the coach is here, despite the. I mean, I don't think you have to be a conspiracy theorist to. Well, maybe you do, but to go very far into the coach breaking down or having a puncture as to how that might have happened in inverted commas there, just accidentally defended into the offside. I mean, there was Lasagna Gate, wasn't there, with that Tottenham team, and we're wondering if this might be.
Well, I did go around there at 3 o'clock in the morning to set some fireworks off, but just to try and disrupt their sleep.
Might be Rusty Nail Gate. Full investigation will be underway. But yeah, that's not the best start to the day, is it? Having to scramble getting taxis into the ground, but it's all character building, the head coaches will probably say. Here's Chappell then to Benjamin. Yeah, it's a good short ball, that one. Benjamin sees it basically off his nose. Obviously, he's got a helmet, a visor in front of his face, but he actually goes for it. Yeah, takes a single into the onside there. Rotating the strike. Jack Leaning has 16 from his 66. Benjamin 1 from 9. If you're just joining us, first ball of the day to Wadamiea, judged to have top edge to catch to Brooke Guest off the bowling of Zach Chappell. As the ball was in the air, he put his hand up to indicate something to Wadamiea, and fair to say he wasn't best pleased as he went off. But there we are. Batters never are, but outside the off stump. Short and wide left by Leaning.
A couple of glances back. I mean, he didn't jump up and down and stomp his feet or anything like that. It wasn't an overt show of dissent. He just sort of looked quizzically back from what I could tell, looked quizzically back at the umpire. As he was probably entitled to do, it appears, but yeah, these things happen.
As you said yesterday, I think batters never think they're out.
No, they don't. They don't.
Even to the stumps, maybe the stumps are destroyed. Here's Chappell to Leaning. Back to the bowler. Is that the end of the over? It is indeed. So Kent trailing by 99, 162 for 4.
But even then, we were talking about cricket quotations yesterday in the written media box, and there was one apparently famous occasion. I hadn't heard it before, but a famous occasion where W.G. Grace was bowled and 2 of the stumps were lying on the ground, and he turned back to the bowler and he said, "You're not going to claim that, are you? There's still a stump standing." So famously, I don't think he was a walker.
Is the most famous one is "They've come to watch me bat, not you bowl." Is that right? W.G. Grace? I think that was one of his. So Lewis Rees from the racecourse end. And sorry, I was about to take you over there, wasn't I? But I've snaffled the ball a bit.
Sorry, well, no, I'm
back it in from Chris Benjamin.
I appear to be in a production meeting at the moment. They're now asking for 45s instead of half past, which would work much better.
Multitasking.
Well, no, that was the whole problem. There was no multitasking going on. I was only able to focus on one task, and it wasn't, sadly, the cricket.
I mean, much though we love a meeting, I suppose.
All of a
We
sudden,
could talk about that off air, maybe.
I got a message early, and then all of a sudden things changed slightly.
Oh, there we go. Well, that's live radio for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
Live radio.
And I can hear the production meeting that's going on. Here is Reese around the wicket, bowls. That was left by Benjamin. Didn't bounce an awful lot. Was taken probably less than halfway down the stump by Brooke Guest, who's standing up to Reese as well.
Yeah, Ben Compton saying last night, still a good batting pitch, just the odd one, he was saying, doing something. But I guess you could say that about a lot of pitches, couldn't you? But I think we've seen that. Almost leaping off the back of a length or getting a bit of movement off the pitch.
He's in again, Reese. That one is turned into the leg side. Lloyd is fielding at mid-wicket. Breezy again today. Trees are moving quite a lot. In fact, probably more than yesterday. Which may either bring rain or blow it away. Nobody really knows. I'm convinced that nobody really knows. I mean, I watched the weather forecast. You do, don't you? Well, first thing I did when I woke up this morning was check the weather forecast, and I watched the weather forecast on the television. As Reese is in, and defended by Benjamin back to him. And they showed a little animation of where the clouds are coming from and where they're going to go to, and it was blowing from west to east, and it was moving really rapidly. But the heavy rain didn't appear to be touching Derby. Now, it might get blown off course and arrive here, who knows. But I think light rain would be even worse than heavy rain. As far as staying here all day is concerned, as Reese bowls, that one is played into the offside by Benjamin, fielded by Pat Brown, who's there in the offside. Got a big wicket last night, Pat Brown. Got Ben Compton to fend at a short delivery. Most of his deliveries were short, and Caleb Jewell took a fairly simple catch at short leg. That felt like a pivotal moment, as did Tuanda Maye's dismissal, first ball of the day. As Reese is in again, and that one is turned into the leg side by Benjamin. And the over comes to an end. An over relatively incident-free. It was another maiden. He's now bowled 7 overs, 1 for 21, Lewis Reese. But as Wayne Madsen has a chat to him, the Derbyshire skipper, you only have to look at the scoreboard, has options. Martin Anderson and Anish Dahl opened the bowling yesterday when Kent were asked to follow one. David Lloyd, Pat Brown himself and Jack Morley have all bowled as well. So I imagine no breakthrough after 2 or 3 overs. Try somebody else and just keep trying. Chipping away was a phrase that was used at the end of day 2 by Caleb Jewell, who's currently standing at first slip. First sighting of the day of Blair Tickner, who's currently wandering around the boundary.
Here's Zach Chappell then, the wicket taker this morning to Jack Leaney. Well, shot off his pads and towards square leg. Anish Dahl fields on the square leg boundary, and they'll take a single. I did read once. I read this once, just reading the once, that if when you woke up in the morning and looked out at the window and said that'll be the weather for the day, you'd be right a very high proportion of the day.
Oh, okay.
So there we go. Although, as we know, 65% of statistics are completely made up, and the other 55 need careful attention. So
Yes, I don't want to do people out of work.
I think it's nice now in front. The weather fronts are coming in, and I mean, it looks like tomorrow, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
From the
Yeah, it doesn't look great tomorrow. It can rain as much as it likes tomorrow. I think Derbyshire have got a second 11 T20, which will effectively be the first 11 T20 at Kibworth in Leicestershire.
All the teams could do with a bit of a warm-up, couldn't they, at this point?
Yeah.
So Zach Chappell to bowl to Chris Benjamin. Benjamin is a push and run into the onside, fielded there by Harry Kane. At mid-wicket. Were 3 slips in. Caleb Jewell's now going to grab the fielding helmet. He's going to be put in at short leg at some point. Not now is the answer to that. got no fielding pads on. He didn't yesterday, did he? Where they
No.
were setting a leg trap for Tawanda Mieye and bowling just back of a length, which, I have to say, if he did anything, probably made Caleb Jewell think at least momentarily about his life choices. Or his fancy for fielding under the helmet. On the back foot, lovely shot from Jack leaning. It's bobbled up before it gets to the field. David Lloyd, has that gone for 4? It looked like it had to me, but
It's been given away, unfortunately, by Blair Tickner and Nye Donald. He'll thank Nye for that. They're good friends. It looked 4 to me. It was the secondary dive, and his body seemed to be touching the rope as it touched the ball.
Sounds strange to say, but it was going straight towards him. It was a great effort just to get a hand on the ball, because it's taken a wicked bounce in front of him. He's reacted like a Premier League goalkeeper and tried to claw it away from the boundary rope or the line. And the second effort just couldn't stop it going onto the rope. So 4 to leaning. Bouncer from Chappell. Knew it was coming at some point. Easier said than cope with, though. 166 for 4. Leaning has 19. Benjamin has 2. So the deficit is 93, and getting ahead will be, again, all Kent can do about that will help them in the final analysis, or could help them in the final analysis, just slowing the game down. And that's their job today.
Derbyshire's over 8, now -2. So they might just want to get that down to -1.
As Chappell bowls to leaning, flicks that off the pad. Has it hit the pad? It has, I think, umpire Shanmugam, indicating that it's gone for 4 leg byes. So looks like Blair Tickner. Has he got one tattooed leg there?
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
So what do they call that? They call the arm a
He
sleeve.
has a sleeve as well.
Right.
And he has one side of his body.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. A leg? No, a trouser leg. I don't think it's called that at all.
That's a good point, yeah. That's what you call your trouser leg, yeah. There we are.
But yes, he's
Got some ink.
he certainly has. I'm sure it tells a story.
Yeah. It's a graphic novel. It's defended by leaning this next one. Good full delivery from Zach Chappell after a short ball before. Harry Kane picks it up and starts immediately to polish the ball, which is 50 overs old. So they'll get another new ball before they need it against Kent today in the fullness of time. 91 overs remaining. And if you're just joining us, Tawanda Mieye out first ball of the day. Just be out top, edging to Brooke Guest, the wicketkeeper, for 55.
We'll be hoping they don't need it, because if they do get to 80 overs, which is in 30 overs time, they won't be too far away, will they, Kent, from parity? You wouldn't have thought they're 89 behind at the moment. As Rees begins a new over, and that one is left alone outside the off stump by Benjamin to go through to Brooke Guest. Still to come Harry Finch, Grant Stewart, Parkinson, Nathan Gilchrist and Jake Ball, if he is fit enough to do so. Now, if it's tight, or I imagine he might come out. It didn't do him any good in the first innings when we weren't sure if he'd come out. He did come out, and it didn't last very long with that groin strain that he has. As this next delivery from Rees has been caught behind by Brooke Guest, and just a little feather through from Benjamin. Now that Rees has struck, well, it might be immaterial, because Kent are 172 for 5 now. Benjamin goes for 2. And, well, this is the dream start for Derbyshire. 2 wickets inside the first 23 minutes on the final day, when they effectively needed 7 wickets to win the match. This is going much, much better than can possibly have been expected. Kent, 172 for 5 now, trailing by 89 runs still.
Yeah, you do feel this. The game may be up for Kent unless we have some absolute heroics from Jack Leaning and the lower order. Harry Finch has been in no sort of form, got out to no sort of shot really, did he, in the first innings? So
was he out first ball?
Yes, he was. Yeah. Just 150 so far this season for the Kent wicketkeeper. Is he coming out next year? Indeed, yeah. So, yeah, I'm not sure they can hold up the tide here, Kent. Derbyshire are bowling up a storm. And
Look who it is.
yeah, wicket falls. Play it's here, yeah. 2 down already. Yeah, good point. Yeah. That's very BBC of you. Yeah, good start for Derbyshire. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
good
yeah.
man.
We all have to try to do that. It's difficult at times.
He's learning
It's
the ropes
difficult
very
at
quickly, this
times.
player Tickner, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing it 15 years and I still don't know what I'm doing, so.
I've never had a clue. I'm always grateful every morning if all the equipment works and it's all pointed in the direction it should be pointed in, really.
Or you're facing the pitch.
Well,
That's always-
yeah. Although there have been times over the last couple of years when facing away from the pitch might have been better from a personal sanity point of view.
Yeah, Kent fans might be feeling that right at the moment.
So it is Harry Finch, first ball duck in the first innings. Reece bowls to him and he defends this one up to Harry Kane at mid-on. No matter how many times I said he had a first ball duck, I couldn't get him to get his second one. And I'm pleased with him. There is nothing worse, is there?
No, it's as I said, a real strange kind of shot. He got out first, didn't get himself organised at all, did he? Chipping the ball up to mid-off first time round. So, from his point of view, he'll want to dig in anyway to make some runs here. 176 for 5.
Reece again round the wicket, bowls to Finch, who turns that into the leg side once again. It's David Lloyd with a slightly simpler piece of fielding than before, when the ball spat up at him close to the boundary rope, just bends down to pick it up. We might be able to do something very clever here.
Yeah, I'm going to do a half pass, aren't I? So,
you
yeah.
do a half past.
Yeah,
But mine's been moved to 1:45.
right. Yes,
So we
I'm
can
already confused, but yeah,
we
yeah,
can,
no, I know.
we can always have 2 people on and get another set of headphones for the.
There we go.
There's Reece bowling. Ooh, nearly taking the edge of Finch's bat. Through to the keeper. Guessed again. It doesn't necessarily feel like a bowling day today. It's too cold, isn't it? It's too cold. Yaz back as the physio today, down below.
That's good delivery. It's a little bit of movement off the pitch. All right, yeah, just below us there.
I was surprised last night they didn't cover the bowlers' run-ups with the sheets. That one is defended by Finch. Back towards Reece, and there's no one. It's picked up by Martin Anderson, actually. That extra cover. There's a lot of wires, I know, yeah. And the longer the limbs, and we've both got reasonably long limbs, the longer your limbs, the more chance you have of tying yourself in a very, very unpleasant knot.
We've got a professional athlete here, so we'll be absolutely fine with him.
I thought for a moment you were referring to me. And there's no need to laugh like that either. So we'll try and do something very clever here so that there are always 2 people on commentary just for the next wee while. Do you want to, you take those and then I'll go off when Matt comes back and inform Radio Derby listeners at 1:45. That's the fella. Yes, a really good start. It was very good of you to give David Lloyd up on the boundary edge. I noticed both you and I were, well, that's 4.
Yeah, I hope the coach didn't see me down there.
It looked like 4 from here, I have to say. As Zach Chappell begins a new move to Leaning, who pushes this one out into the offside.
There wasn't many people out there, so we could have been a little bit more dishonest. But he jumped on the rope whilst he pulled it back. So.
His body was on the rope, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it was reasonably obvious. It just spat up at him at the last minute and caused a bit of consternation. Good start though for Derbyshire.
Yeah, very good start. A bit overcast, but it hasn't done too much, I don't think. Some good bowling, obviously.
Good to see. Zach Chappell in his 12th over of the innings. He's got 2 for 50 and he bowls to Leaning, who just turns that into the ground, and it's taken by Caleb Jewell, who's got a couple of catches already in this innings. Helped dismiss Daniel Pearl-Drummond and Ben Compton. The Compton one just felt important last night to get that 3rd wicket, to get the man who'd got the century in the first innings. Felt big. And then a wicket with the first ball of the day today. From this man, Chappell, who bowls, strikes the pad. It's going to be leg byes, perhaps going down leg. That could be the only reason if he's going to give leg byes. They go through for 1 more to the Kent total as they go on to 173. for 5, still trailing by 88. Do cricketers, because we constantly looking at weather forecasts, do cricketers look at the weather forecasts? Do they pick the best
Yeah,
one?
they
That's
do.
what we
Some do, yeah.
We always pick the best one. You get 3 weather forecasts.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
one looks good. We'll have that one.
Yeah, a lot of them do, yeah, but not myself. I'm a bit boring. I'd rather be playing than sitting and watching.
Oh,
Obviously,
absolutely.
you play a lot more cricket over here, so it's probably not the same for everyone. But yeah, I like to get out there and keep playing. But yeah, I think the weather forecast didn't look that great last night, I heard. But
No, it looked poor yesterday for today, and then I woke up this morning at 5 o'clock, and I thought I'll just check the weather forecast, and it looked a lot better. Here's Chappell in and balls to Finch, who defends that one up to mid-on, and again, there's no run, just a couple of balls left in this over. I think it might be an English thing as much as anything. We're obsessed by the weather, sadly. A whole posse of Derbyshire players going for nets, so that's Mitch Wagstaff at the front. It's Nye Donald in his ridiculous red trainers. And Harry Moore is there as well, which is good to see Harry. That one is clipped into the leg side, out towards the backward square leg boundary by Finch, and he's off the mark. Gets the boundary, 177 for 5.
yeah, I think it's all the white ball guys going over there for a hit, obviously, coming into the blast very soon, so...
They've got a friendly, well, it's not a friendly, I think it's a second team game technically tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah,
Kibworth.
Yeah.
Would you be walking around the boundary there as well?
I don't know, might have a new job of assistant bowling coach maybe. No, I'll definitely be I'll be rehabbing in the gym waiting for Friday's game.
Yeah, all starts on Friday at Grace Road. Got a job to do here though. Chappell bowls, and that's guided by Finch down into the ground. There's a shy, well, sort of shy at the stumps there from David Lloyd. The batters had got through very comfortably in the end for a single. Finch moves on to 5 and pinches the strike one. 78 for 5 at the end of the over. Leaning has 21. Kent still 83 behind. 5 more wickets for Derbyshire to record their second win of the season and move on to 100 points at the halfway stage of the campaign. Last year, Derbyshire managed 123 points in the entire season. So it's been a slightly better season this season as far as results are concerned. We have a substitute fielder on. It's Alex Thompson, mainly because I think Caleb Jules, trousers down. He doesn't mind that, does he?
No, he seems to do that very often.
Yeah.
At least he's not wasting time like he usually does.
Yes, well, there is that. But yeah, trousers down. He's putting his fielding pads on, so Tomo's on briefly. As Reese is in, that's pushed into the offside by Finch. It's quite unusual. It's a very good fielder in that position, but for your overseas, one of your overseas pros to say, no, I'll go in at short leg. Normally they'd be saying, no, I'll tell you what, I'll stand there at first slip. You boys get on with the work, and I'll come out and do some batting later on. But
Yeah, I think a few guys went under there and he thought their technique wasn't as good as his, so he said, I'll put my hand up and go in there. So, and he's done quite well, actually.
He has. He replaced Harry Kame in one game, and he's sort of got it now. As Reese bowls, that's defended by Finch. I think Harry was under there, not under duress, but because he's not going to bowl, is he? So you basically, because they have 7 players in the team generally who could be called on to bowl at any moment, then you've got a wicket keeper as well. You haven't got many candidates, have you, to go under the lid?
No, you're either out on the boundary or you're under the lid, I think. So
Yeah.
one or the other. Harry wanted the boundary, I think. So, and yeah, Caleb's doing a good job under there now.
Comes Reese again around the wicket, bowls. That one is a little rising delivery outside the off stump, too far outside the off stump for Finch to be in any way interested. Brookguest takes it sort of shoulder height almost. But no dramas for the batter on this occasion. Yeah, quite like the idea of being out on the boundary. I used to feel a bit in the slips, but this is 45 years ago, as Reese is in and bowls to Finch, who defends. I like feeling close in. You just felt part of it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Yeah, I don't mind being part of it.
You were in the slips. I nearly fell over at Old Trafford when you went. Was that because you taught? I don't want to demean your slip feeling in any way, but I just thought it might have been because you were
I've sort of worked my way in there at home in New Zealand, so I'm third slip for Central Stags, and I'm slowly. Last year I ended up gully because I broke a few fingers last year, Wayne and Lloyd.
Yes. Reese Bowles, the good catch. They'd have been all right. That one's left alone by
Yeah,
Finch.
so obviously last summer I pushed them out by breaking their fingers,
Yes.
and I ended up at gully, but now we've got Martin Anderson there, so I've sort of kept practicing with Caleb and hope to get back in there, but yeah, hammy was a good excuse to get. I don't really
course.
like first slip. I don't mind second and third, but I just parked up there. Caleb told me to take out the recliner like he does and sit in there, so sit in the pocket.
Reese around the wicket. That one is defended by Finch. He takes his bottom hand off the bat as he does so. But no damage done as the ball is played out into the offside. 178 for 5 at the end of the over. Kent still trailed by 83 runs. Derbyshire picked up 2 wickets in the first 35 minutes today. The wickets of Tawanda Mageye, who may or may not consider himself unfortunate, caught by Brooke Guest off the bowling of Zach Chappell, and then Chris Benjamin also caught by Guest off the bowling of Lewis Rees. 55 for Mageye. It's the same as his overnight score, as you can imagine. It was first ball of the day, and Benjamin made 2. Yes, I'd forgotten about the hamstring. That would make perfect. I didn't know at the time about the hamstring as Chappell bowls. That's clipped into the leg side. He doesn't turn his back, Caleb Jewell. I think I would have done if I'd had sufficiently good reactions. The ball goes out to the square leg boundary, and Leaning moves on to 22 with a single. 179 for 5. It all makes perfect sense now. Cold old day in Derby. It's going to chuck it down tomorrow. Let's hope it waits until tomorrow as Chappell is in, and that one is driven. He gets his left foot to it, does Zach Chappell. Doesn't mind fielding with his feet. And the ball ricochets to mid-off. It's fielded by Lewis Rees. He's wearing his hat at a very jaunty angle. Pat Brown just started to stretch out in the covers. Bowled a really hostile spell last night. He is sharp.
Yeah, it was good to see, actually.
Chappell is in again, and that one is defended by Finch. This time to the onside of the stumps at the non-striker's end at the far end.
I was talking after he got his first wicket, and his run-up got longer and longer, and it ended up, I was walking around the boundary, and he was about 5 metres away from me. I said I couldn't do that myself, but he's a good athlete.
He has got the longest run-up of any of the Derbyshire bowlers by some considerable distance. Yours is pretty short for a quick, isn't it, really?
Economical, I think.
Economical, that's the word I was looking for. Chappell is in, bowls a short delivery, and Finch just bends out of the way of it, allows it to go through to Guest once again. Yes, economical, a very, very good description. Trying to remember what we said in the production meeting, but I can't remember. It could be anything. I've got it now. I'll make way after this, at the end of this. I'll make way mainly for my own benefit, which seems a bit selfish, but in comes Chappell again. That's clipped into the leg side by Finch. They're going to run the first one quickly. Dal is running around the boundary, and they'll come back for the second as Dal gets the throw away. Throws it back to the non-strikers end. 181 for 5. The deficit 80. Derbyshire, of course, the luxury of being able to bat again. They don't want to be scoring too many. It's time. It could become the key factor.
Yeah, that's why it was so vital getting those early wickets, obviously, but you need to keep taking them. Obviously, it's still quite a flat wicket, so you like to get them in twos, hopefully.
As Chappell bowls outside the off-stump, Finch just raises his bat and leaves it alone. You might be able to give us a little bit of an insight as I make way for Matt as to, at the start of the final day, what kind of chat you have. You have this chat, you know what you need to do, and it's do it as quickly as possible, presumably.
Yeah, obviously, starting the day when they were 3 down, you want to do it as soon as possible. To get that first wicket in the first ball was obviously a great start, but to continue to build the pressure up, I think. Kent are luckily going nowhere, so hopefully we can bowl them out for under the score, if not just a few more. So it's been a really good start. I think Chappell's finished his spell. He's been bowling downwind quite aggressively. So bowling with Reese, who's bowling into a stiff breeze, but they've both bowled very well to start the day. So hopefully the next bowler coming on can continue to build the pressure.
Yeah, wicket each for them as Lewis Reese now bowls to leading. Just moves gently forward to that one, plays it into the offside defensively. 2 slips in. No Blair Tickner because he's to our left here in the commentary box. Doing the expertise and making it all look very easy, to be honest. There we go.
Don't know about that. Be booted out of here very soon.
Like a fish to water. Dave Fletcher's doing something technical as well, which is also beyond me, but he assures me it's going to work, and that's the important thing.
Catch.
Oh, it could be, and gone at mid-off. It's a great catch. Fabulous catch there, taken at mid-off, just looking for the fielder there, but leaning has gone for 22. He's driven that, it looped up, but looked to go to ground. Fielder at mid-off has taken that, hands underneath, and it's a catch by, saying Pat Brown, but I don't think it was. It's 26 on
Potts,
his back.
Yeah,
It's
Potts.
Nick Potts. Thank
Yeah.
you very much indeed, Blair and Dave. Yeah, but leaning's gone, a fabulous catch. Though looks second favourite to get to the balls. It just died on him, but it's got the fingers underneath. And Jack Leaning has not been in great form this season. Will perhaps curse his luck, but it was in the air for quite a time, that one. That drive went aerial. Lewis Reese has his second wicket of the morning. Derbyshire have their third, 181 for 6, writing on the wall for Kent now as Derbyshire closing on victory. Kent 181 for 6, as I said, trailing still by 80. Just that to make Derbyshire bat again in this match. Big celebrations, Blair Tickner, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, obviously into the wind, stuck in the wicket a little bit. He tried to drive a length ball and he just popped it straight to mid-off. Good catch by Nick Potts, but yeah, trying to save the game. It's a interesting way to do it, I think. But yeah, very good start again for Derbyshire, and they'll look to finish it off in the first session now.
Yeah, absolutely closing in on that. And Kent will need, well, I'm going from a minor to a medium miracle at this point, I think. Finch is there on 7. Grant Stewart comes out. Every time I see Grant Stewart now, I have to quote the 7th wicket record that he amassed with Chris Benjamin in the previous game. Made himself 182, a career high by quite some way, and a record for Kent as a number 8. But it's going to need something like that. Some sort of incredible comeback for them. Derbyshire surely, though, are closing in on victory on the final day, and maybe, as Blair was saying here, in the first session as well. Just bowled really well, though, haven't they? I mean, stuck to their task, really.
Yeah,
On the
obviously
flash pitch.
you want to start well, and on the last day, put it in the right areas, and it's come with 3 wickets, really.
Yeah, Reese now bowling to Stewart, solidly behind that into the offside.
It is hard to score. Obviously, Reese bowl into this wind, keeper up to the stumps. It's all about defending, really, and yeah, obviously when you're pushing it down the ground, it's hard on this wicket with a little bit of tennis ball bounce. So he's sort of fallen into the trap, really.
Yeah, Ben Compton was saying that yesterday. That's a pretty good batting track. 1 or 2 will do something, but he was talking about that bounce as you were saying,
Yeah.
the tennis ball bouncing. Stewart again into the offside. That is fielded in the covers. I think that is Pat Brown there.
Yep.
But Nick Potts very much for the catch. Wanted to make sure I get the identification right, because it was a great grab, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good grab, especially if you've been sitting drinking a cup of tea on the sidelines and then diving forward. Very good catch.
Yeah, it's done well there. It's got the 6th for Derbyshire now. I think they'll probably only need 9. With Jake Ball injured for Kent. Tried to bat yesterday. He's again pushed. Was exactly the same shot from Grant Stewart. He's tried it 3 times now. It's not worked for him. He has faced 3 balls and drive that past Brown in the offside. But had a very quick word with Jake last night, and he was saying it's just an awkward injury. It's abdomen/groin injury, I think. But just saying sudden movements would set it off. Not great for your batting, because you have to make sudden movements, obviously, was his point. Driving back to Reese is Stewart this turn. And that is the end of the over, 181 for 6. But yeah, he was in, I don't know if you saw him, the 2 balls he faced yesterday, but Jake Ball was in some discomfort in the second one.
Comfortable.
Just had to go off. I think it's an indication when a batter throws both gloves on the ground after reacting to that in pain that it's not going terribly well.
No.
I'm sure you'll sympathise and empathise as a quick bowler.
Change of bowler there.
Yeah, we will have Anuj Dal at the far end. He's bowled really well. Took 4 in the first innings, going at 3 and over in the second. But you have some bowling resources in this side as well, don't you?
Yeah, we've got a lot of bowlers, obviously a lot of all-rounders, which sort of makes the balance of the team quite good. I think you need that, obviously, big county season, obviously, so to have so many options, it's a dream, really. Guys have stepped up at different times bowling, so obviously in the first innings that Dale did, but yeah, now Chappell and Reese, so no, it's a nice balanced side at the moment.
Bodes well for the T20 as well, aren't they? All-rounders at a premium, that form of cricket.
Yeah, there'll be a few changes, but again, there's a lot of all-rounders, a lot of depth in the batting, so with the blast, you can obviously go hard up top and rely on everyone being able to hit it and get some big scores.
And it's down now bowling to Finch, who's gone hard at that one outside the off stump. It's a full toss. It's not the greatest ball.
Yeah, that was a loosener.
From managed to hold, but Finch almost made it into something, I have to say. He did his very best. Throwing the kitchen sink at the outside the off stump. Oh, yeah, crikey. That was got away from managed, I think, that first one. But what do coaches say these days? You allowed a loosener? Or is that, I know some coaches...
Definitely not with our coaching staff.
I was going to say, driven up to mid-off. Yeah, I know there are some coaches that will grimace at you at the very least for suggesting that's acceptable at the start of a spell.
Yeah.
To be straight on it, player.
It is always hard after lunch. You want to have a nice lunch, and then you're the first one out there warming up again to go again. So it's part of the job, really, but it makes your lunch and tea very short.
So it's Dale now to bowl to Finch. High back lift, a bit like Jack Leaning. The man is just gone. Out the offside, fielded by Jack Morley. So just one slip in at the moment for Harry Finch. There's Wayne Madsen. Join now. Is this Anderson coming around to gully? Yeah, more or less. So slip in a gully. A backward point. Cover mid-off, mid-on. Two on the drive on the onside. Wayne Madsen likes his mid-wickets. Left by Finch through to the wicket-keeper. Not the array we had yesterday. We had a sort of umbrella field for a couple of the Kent batters yesterday, didn't we, forward of the wicket?
Yeah. You got to try things on this wicket. Obviously, not too much sideways movement. So those catches off with a little bit of hold. Hope they push it up into the catches in the mid-wicket or cover region usually, and then have your field quite straight so they can't score down the ground. Is the usual mode of dismissal here.
Yeah. Dale now to... Oh, Finch is gone. He's played on and gone. Well, he might consider himself a little bit unlucky, Harry Finch, and in no sort of form himself. He goes for 7, and never mind that for Derbyshire. Dale has got the 7th wicket, 181 for 7 now. Kent absolutely staring down the barrel of defeat. Jubilation for Derbyshire. Another wicket, the 4th of the morning for Derbyshire, as Anuj Dal has Finch a 4-7, 181 for 7. Kent still trailing by 80. Derbyshire perhaps closing on an innings victory in the first session on the final day. So 181 for 7 as Finch goes off. Dal has his first wicket of the innings, 1 for 24 for him. Couldn't be going much better, Blair Tickner, at the moment.
Well, no, that dismissal is actually, we've seen it a few times before. It's hit the bottom of his thigh pad and it's gone around his leg and back onto the stumps. You see it every now and again. It sort of hooks on the bottom of your thigh pad, and I guess when things are going badly, they really go badly because that's very unlucky.
Yeah, just looking at the replay here. Oh, I see what you mean. It's been, kind of drags on from the thigh pad, and Harry Finch looking disconsolate as he goes on.
Pulls his thigh pad and can't believe it, really.
I was saying at the beginning of the day, Kent will not only need a lot of skill, but a lot of luck to last a whole day in
Yeah.
that situation, don't you? And that's certainly deserted Finch, but certainly not begrudging Derbyshire for their efforts here. They bowled really well,
Yeah.
dominated this game.
They just had a lovely replay of that and just got hooked right underneath his front thigh pad, and it's just almost like he's been bowled around his legs.
Yeah, he's gone, and so no addition to the score after the dismissal of Leading. So it's Grant Stewart and Matt Parkinson now comes out to join him and to bat for Kent. And you'd have to say at this point that it's very much a question of when, not if, for Derbyshire, closing in on victory. And Dal bowls to Parkinson, defends that into the offside. It's fielded by David Lloyd. Are you warming up the victory song at some point? Do you have one at Derbyshire?
We do. Yeah, we do. I might be out of my job though. I've played a lot of games for not a lot. I've played probably 8 4-day games for Derbyshire,
Yeah.
and I've only drawn games. So and they won the game when I wasn't here. So maybe I'll be out of my job. I might be up here next week actually, and yeah.
You'd be very welcome.
Yeah.
Although Dave Fletcher might be worried about his position at that point. There we go. That's the way this. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been a great start to the season. Obviously, on wickets like this, it's hard to push for the victory all the time. But when you get teams in good positions, it's exciting to see really that guys are putting their hands up at different times and putting pressure on the batters in the last day. It's pretty exciting.
Certainly momentum has swung against Kent after 2 wins, or consecutive wins to start the season. Now he looks like it could be their 4th defeat. That one is.
Times like
sorry,
these, it just seems like anything's happening now.
Yeah, I was going to say change of bowling, and David Lloyd's got a bit of turn. Like he might have just taken the off stump of Grant Stewart there, but instead straight through to Brooke Guest. He does get himself a single to Stewart. Parkinson at the other end, who showed good character yesterday, and I must say when he went for after an hour of day 3, Kent was still in a pretty good position at 235 for 4, but that turned itself into 326 all out, and now 182 for 7, batting a second time. Lloyd comes in now.
Yeah, it was sort of after lunch yesterday. It looked like the game was heading its way for a draw again, and then it happened in a hurry, really. And then Derbyshire had a sniff, really.
Yeah, there's 4 wickets in a hurry yesterday afternoon, 4 wickets in a hurry this morning. And this one driven by Parkinson into the offside, but there's no run. And as I said, probably just need the 2 more wickets here. And I'd imagine, if they lose 2 quick ones here, they won't. It's a full toss from David Lloyd. I'm not talking this game away quickly, but you'd wonder if, in a situation like this, Jake Ball would go out to bat because they'll be so far behind or so far adrift should he come in the next hour even. But Parkinson drops that into the offside, and it's a long run in from the boundary. Fielder picks it up there. It's Alex Thompson, I think, with the longer hair there.
Yep,
the
that's
boundary.
him.
Yeah. Okay. Really testing my identification of the players, I have to say, putting in all sorts of subs on. It's like I'm having to work for a living. 183 for 7, and that is the end of the over. And yeah, talking about turnaround momentum. Obviously, it wasn't the greatest season for Derbyshire last year, but he must feel pretty good in the dressing room at the moment.
Yeah, I think I talked about it the other day, but the mind shift of the players for 4-day cricket's really been a shift in wanting to win games in tough moments, and I've definitely seen a change in the team environment.
Hunting down Kent now for this victory as Morley bowls to Parkinson. Just raising my voice because it's just going to loop up off his bat. It did, but safely square of the wicket as Brooke Guest runs all around to field the wicket keeper. Madsen, the only slip. Got everyone's saving the one for Parkinson. Yeah. He's gone as well. Well, I have to say, it looked pretty much straight. He's pushed forward. Missed that one. Matt Parkinson and Blair Titness doing a fantastic job of not celebrating too hard on the BBC commentary. But Parkinson goes for 1. he's pushed forward, I have to say, pretty indifferently to that one. And from here, although we were behind the batter, it looked pretty much plumb.
Yeah, on that note, I might have to sign off because hopefully we can get this wicket in a hurry and we'll have a nice lunch. But thanks for having me for the week, guys.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
a pleasure to meet you, Blair. Thank you
Cheers,
very
guys.
much. And he goes off into the sunset, warming up his lungs for the victory song at this point. And Blair Tickner, the Kiwi international
Athlete going for his lunch.
nutrition is very important to these guys. But yeah, he's absolutely right. They're a wicket away now from victory, and it looks a racing certainty now that it will be all done and dusted in the first session of the day as well. And it's been a real tumble of wickets, a capitulation by Kent here, and to say no great accusations at Matt Parkinson. He's not expected to be out there very long, but as Nathan Gilchrist comes out, saying yesterday, he has an ignominious record of ducks from a couple of years ago, but also averaging 7. So I'll tell you what, if Kent win it from here, this is going to be quite something, I like to say.
If they draw it from here, it would be very impressive. I hadn't really contemplated the Kent victory.
Yeah, I mean, all the results are still
All
possible.
results still possible, yes.
Not likely, I
No.
think it's fair to say.
No, absolutely.
As Morley's round the wicket to Gilchrist. I wonder how early we give you the honour here, Dave, because I don't think Jake Ball will come out. There'll be no reason, will there? Shall I finish this over? I don't know.
Yeah, why not?
It's Gilchrist on the back foot and into the offside. I'll tell you what, if I call the final wicket, I'll hand over very quickly.
You'll
for you
get
to
on the
look at
radio
somewhere.
tomorrow night if you do.
There we go. It's back foot from Gilchrist into the offside and fielded by David Lloyd, and almost does feel procedural now. No disrespect at all to Nathan Gilchrist or particularly Grant Stewart, but one ball left of the 58th over. Round the wicket comes Morley, and just about seen off with the toe end of the bat by Nathan Gilchrist. Stewart has one, Gilchrist has none. Kent 183 for 8 in disarray, and looking like they will, having already lost 5 wickets, and that's the most any side has lost in a single session in this game so far. I think it's fair to say that, well, we had all sort of thoughts, didn't we, about the weather, about how long they bat for, flat pitch, etc., and there you go.
And it's
Coming up to 12 o'clock, we're nearly done.
I hope they've got the burgers on so that we still get them.
Oh, my. Now, what's promised?
You know what's going to happen, of course. We're both doing updates at the top of the hour, and that's when the final wicket will fall, when we're both elsewhere. Well, not elsewhere. David Lloyd then from the racecourse end, bowls, and that one is punched by Stewart out towards mid-off. And they go through for a single. Caleb Jewell does the fielding, 184 for 8, trailing by 77 still. Pat Brown wants to get closer to the action, but he's just been told to stay where he is at a sort of half and half, deep-ish mid-on, as Lloyd bowls to Gilchrist. That's pushed straight back to him by the Kent bowler. Lloyd jogs back to his mark. Can he feel some rain? I don't think so. As Lloyd is in that, drops that one short, and that's clubbed away. Even Gilchrist isn't going to miss out on a delivery like that, and he gave it the treatment out towards the mid-wicket boundary for his first runs of the second innings. 188 for 8. Derbyshire need 2 wickets technically.
26 for 5 this morning, Kent, or 5 for 26 if you like from Derbyshire, which is pretty ugly.
It is, isn't it? It is. Lloyd once more. Gilchrist, well, fair play, leaves it alone. You don't want to lose a game by leaving one and having your off stick pushed back, but he was confident enough that wasn't going to hit the stumps there, Gilchrist. Tall man. Looks slightly too tall for that bat, actually. And he pushes this next delivery into the leg side. They're going to go through for a single. It was the penultimate ball of the over, so Stewart showing no signs of protecting Nathan Gilchrist. Grant Stewart, I don't think there is much point in protecting anybody anymore.
Wouldn't be at all surprised if Grant Stewart
Give it a-
decides to
give it
tee
a bit
off
of long
here.
handle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
could be exciting for
Why
him.
not? Lloyd is in, and he did. Oh, he gets an edge on that. He's going to get runs. He might get 4 of them down to a very fine third man. I think he is. Zach Chappell is chasing the ball, but it reaches the rope now. That was a genuine edge. He moves on to 6, 193 for 8, and the deficit is 68, which seems an awful lot. It started the day at 104, and it's still a long, long way off making Derbyshire bat for a second time here. Kent. It almost turned into must-win today with Glamorgan and Leicestershire both winning yesterday, so it'll be an important win should they get there. Which they will. I've confused him with the number of ISDNs I have in front of me. It confuses me as well. So I will have an update momentarily, and hopefully the end of the game doesn't come during the update. That would be the worst case scenario. Morley in, gives that one some air. It's driven out into the offside by Gilchrist. He's going to pick up a single. He move on to 6. And it brings Stewart back on to strike. Around the wicket for Morley, hiding behind umpire Shan McGam at the far end. Pops out from behind him, balls to Stewart, who goes back into his crease and turns this one up into the leg side where Pat Brown does the fielding. Morley's next delivery is pushed out towards the extra cover boundary. Lewis Rees runs around. He'll get there now. Stewart will pick up 2 more to move to 8. 196 for 8. Update for newsreader Sean in a moment as this next delivery is pushed out into the offside by Stewart for another single. He moves on to 9. 197 for 8. We'll just wait to see if Jake Ball comes out. I doubt it, really. He faced 2 deliveries in the first innings before retiring hurt, as that one is dabbed backward a square on the offside by Gilchrist. There is no run. Over comes to an end. 197 for 8. Plenty of time. If the weather plays ball, Derbyshire will complete victory at some point today. It feels like it might be sooner rather than later, having picked up 5 wickets already this morning. David Lloyd to continue. Lloyd in, bowls. That one is pushed into the offside by Stewart. There is no run. Martin Anderson having a chat with Ajmal Shazad down below as the bowling coach. Haven't seen Anderson yet today. Lloyd bowls. That's an edge, and it's missed by Wayne Madsen. Lloyd looks furious. It's gone all the way for 4. Another genuine edge from Stewart, who moves to 13. 200 up for Kent. 200. She missed me again. 201 for 8. Lloyd is on his way in again, bowls, and that's and again off the edge. I think might have been Pad actually, and goes to the man at slip, Wayne Madsen. There he is again. Lloyd bowls. Stewart pushes out into the offside, fielded by Jewell. As Derbyshire search for the remaining 2 wickets they need to complete victory here at the county ground in Derby. Grey skies as Lloyd comes in and bowls. Stewart goes back and pushed out into the offside where Jewell fields once again. Martin Anderson struggled to count to 6 there. He's racing in. Now he has to come back. Concentration broken by as much as that, presumably, as Lloyd bowls. That one is driven out into the offside. Straight to Caleb Jewell again by Grant Stewart. And the over comes to an end. 201 for 8. David Lloyd, one of only 2 bowlers who haven't taken a wicket. Martin Anderson being the other. In this Kent second innings, 1 for 24, Anuj Dal. 1 for 23, Pat Brown. 1 for 10, Jack Morley. 2 for 58, Zach Chappell. And 3 for 21, Lewis Rees, reinforcing his position at the top of the leading wicket takers for Derbyshire in the County Championship this season. In comes Morley again around the wicket and bowls to Gilchrist, who just defends that back towards the bowler. Morley's next delivery is driven straight back to him. They have now declared Northamptonshire, incidentally, on 259 for 6, setting Gloucestershire 340 to win. As the next delivery is pushed into the offside. Gloucestershire 6 without loss in reply, or in their start of their chase, rather. Worcestershire hurtling to defeat in Division 1 as Morley is in, bowls to Gilchrist, who goes for a big cut shot and it misses the bat and goes through to Guest. Worcestershire 95 for 6, their target's 327 to beat Warwickshire. That isn't going to happen, is it? As in comes Morley again, gives that one a bit of air and it's driven by Gilchrist up towards mid-on, where Zach Chappell does the fielding. Surrey set a target of 418 and 99 for 1 against Essex at the Oval. As Morley is in to bowl to Gilchrist, who goes back, gets a bottom edge on that, down towards the vacant third man area. Lloyd won't catch it. 4 more to the total. Gilchrist into double figures. Kent 205 for 8 now, trailing by 56. And it would be an achievement in itself to make Derbyshire bat for a second time, it feels like, at the moment, with those 5 wickets going today. Mayeye for 55, first ball of the day. Benjamin for 2, Leaning for 22, Finch for 7, and most recently Parkinson for 1. Yorkshire's target is 463, which clearly they're not going to get, and they're 216 for 5 against Nottinghamshire in Leeds.
I've got the right microphone this time. There we go.
No,
Final day.
It's because
One wicket to go.
we've swapped seats.
Yeah, I know. I told you I'm easily confused. Just
Well, I couldn't work out why your microphone hadn't gone off when you pressed the button. Lloyd bowls to Grant Stewart, who defends the first delivery back towards the bowler.
yeah, more good news for Kent. Thank you to Philip Bay for this one. Kent will be bottom, assuming Northampton don't lose today.
Yeah.
The bottom 3 halfway, Middlesex, Lancashire, and Kent.
And I think you've got good odds on that.
Yeah, what he
As,
said.
Stewart pushes the ball out, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, who the predictions had as the top 3, as he
Yeah.
said yesterday. Fairly
Yeah.
peremptory predictions from some of our colleagues in the cricket press. But yeah,
No one's defended, possibly even people who don't watch second division. I don't know. I'm only guessing.
that would be ridiculous for people to have a strong opinions, surely, in the national press about.
Lloyd bowls and Stewart pushes this one up towards long on. Martin Anderson comes in off the boundary to do the fielding. Stewart moves to 14, 206 for 8. I keep having a look over to the to see if there's a man in whites with pads on waiting to come into bat, but there isn't.
No.
I'd be surprised if they sent Jake Ball out. Lloyd bowls. Gilchrist is beaten by that one. It almost goes under his bat, not taken cleanly by Brooke Guest, who's going to have the honour of taking the winning delivery. In the sunshine now, David Lloyd bowls and Gilchrist goes back, pushes it out square on the offside, and this time Martin Anderson gets to 6 and walks in from the boundary because it is the last ball of the over. 206 for 8. Stewart has 14. Gilchrist has 10. We did this down at wherever we were, at Glamorgan, where I handed over the honour of commentating on a victory to Kenneth, and took a while. I just sat there with my feet up, one of the bonuses.
Yeah, I'll just be thinking about what I'm going to have for my tea when I get home now. So.
Yeah, we might get home in the light, which would be nice, wouldn't it?
One consolation.
What
I
a
suppose,
bonus!
Yeah.
What a bonus that is. Yeah, we've all been there. We've all been there. Oh, good. We'll get home in the light. How do I explain this on the radio tomorrow?
A couple of posts on X today. The Isaac Newell account, Vamos Newells. Go on and win it on Kent Day, they said an hour ago.
Kent Day today.
Yeah, I think it might be cancelled.
Well, it could be indoors if wet. Here is Pat Brown into the attack from the City end. Bowls a short delivery. He's taken it on as Stewart. They want the catch. But umpire Shan McGam is unmoved. Pat Brown looked fairly confident, actually. He didn't even turn around to see if the umpire was giving it, but he wasn't.
I think
He'll have to try again. So it's perhaps 1-1. Who knows?
Grant's had a long stare at Wayne Madsen there. I think maybe he was, maybe a quiet word to say.
Possibly in Italian.
Oh, good point. Yeah,
possibly in
yeah.
Italian. I'm not sure. Just
I
have
don't know what the
look at
Italian for.
replay.
Come on, old chap, I've not hit that.
Not sure. I couldn't tell from
No.
no, you can't tell from those replays. In comes Brown again and bowls. This one's pitched up from Pat Brown. It's driven into the offside. They're going to come back for 2, I think. Yeah, David Lloyd has got to it now, and they do come back for 2. So they move on to 208 for 8. Stewart on to 16. Trailing by now 53. Derbyshire won't care, but the margin of victory is immaterial in cricket. Just the W. That's the important thing. As in comes Brown again and bowls, and that one is driven off the back foot by Stewart. And assuming Derbyshire no run do go on to win this game. I can't remember the last time I saw a 23-point win, which is
absolutely
only one shy of everything you can possibly get in a game.
Yeah, Kent will take just 2 from this as well, from their batting.
I've seen a few of those,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but
Yeah.
23 is got an old chunk of points. As in comes Brown again. That one is hammered, absolutely hammered by Grant Stewart. Beyond the members' pavilion into the car park for 6. That is an enormous hit. It's still going, I think. Harry Kame is in the car park now looking for it. Somebody's going to give him a hand. I think he's gone under the blue car, everybody.
Yeah.
That went a long, long way, and you're right. He might as well, mightn't he? He may as well, Grant Stewart, just have a little go. The camera can't get round far enough on the stream to
they're doing the best
see
now.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have to lean over the edge. Don't lean over the edge, for goodness sake.
If you are listening to us and that white, is it a mini SUV in the car park?
The one that's just by itself,
Yeah.
I'd move that.
Great view if you're inside watching it, but
No, I'd move that.
I would, yeah.
Our car's fortunately at the
Yeah.
back. I've only seen the media centre cleared once. I think that was by
I
Alex.
should have asked you that. I still park backwards though. You can drive home with the back
Well,
window
you
broken.
can, but it's very difficult to explain to the insurance company that you were hit by a stone when you were in your back window.
No, I
I
hadn't
was
thought of
reversing quite quickly. As Brown is in the bowls to shoot, it takes him on again. This one's in the air. It's going to clear the ropes once more. Zach Chappell looked interested for a moment, but now he's going into the car park, and Stewart has hit back-to-back 6s to move on to 28. Kent only trail by 41 now, and Derbyshire don't really want to bat again. 220 for 8. And Wayne Madsen has decided he needs a chat with Pat Brown as the ball is eventually retrieved from the car park, which is part tarmac and part just rough stones. So I can't imagine that the ball is in any particular shape. Terrific piece of work by the whoever's on the camera up there. I can't tell. Oh, it's Phoebe who's on it at the moment.
It's just car park watch at the moment for Grant Stewart.
Yeah, Joel and Luke, the other two youngsters on camera duty today, as this next delivery is outside the off stump. More of a length delivery. Stewart drives at it, gets a thick outside edge, and they don't take a run. Stewart's enjoying himself. Well, he might have taken a run there to keep the strike, but he decided not to. That's interesting. He has 28. Gilchrist has 10. Partnership 37 off 40, so a bit of late excitement. Well, it's a precious little consolation, of course. 220 for 8, needing another 41 to make Derbyshire bat again.
Yeah, I'm not sure psychologically to say it will make any difference. It'll be 4 defeats for Kent in a row. However they come, an innings defeat feels worse perhaps, but they'll know how they've done, and they're in a deep hole in the championship, and feel almost like the T20 is going to rescue them a little bit, trying to get some momentum back. Players will come in as well. Where's Agar, Tom Rogers, the Aussies to the bowling ranks, and Sam Billings will be back, and Fred Clarkson as well.
Lloyd bowls, Gilchrist drives nicely out into the offside, and it's picked up by Anuj Dal. They go through for a single. Now then, this is where the Cars are in danger.
Yeah, I was going to say as well, Grant Stewart, his batting has been maturing like a fine wine over the years. Now he's reached his early 30s. He's certainly, from a T20 point of view, he'll be quite interesting.
Lloyd bowls. That's driven by Stewart in a very pleasant fashion up towards long off, where Pat Brown is fielding. And he goes through for a single rather disappointingly. Moves on to 29. 2-2-2 for 8. They started the day on 157 for 3. Kent, they're now 222 for 8. Lloyd bowls. The wind gets up.
So it really is, isn't it?
Turned into the leg side.
So they turned on the hover cover for a second.
Yeah, it's almost down as far as it'll go as well. The effects microphone hanging out of the window just above us. As Lloyd is in, bowls a full length delivery. In fact, it was a full toss to Gilchrist, who just defends it back to the North Walian. Nick Webb will be all over this if he takes the final wicket. Welshman wins it for Derbyshire. Lloyd's in again, and that one is pushed out into the offside. This time to Caleb Jewell by Nathan Gilchrist. And again, there is no run. Hour and a quarter's play so far. 45 minutes until lunch, but of course it would already be delayed if these two are still there. That one is clipped up towards Martin Anderson. Long on, and they declined the single because they have managed to count to 6 correctly on this occasion, and Grant Stewart will be back on strike for the next over from Pat Brown, assuming it is Pat Brown, although Brooke Guest and Wayne Madsen are currently in discussions. He's only bowled 1 over, Pat Brown. He went for 14, 12 of those off 2 blows into the car park by Grant Stewart, but he is going to get a second over. Be a bit churlish to take him off at this point. Sorry, Brownie, you're too expensive. He's got 1 for 37 from his 7 overs. But that one was crucial last night.
Yeah.
Crucial wicket. It felt big at the time. We've got Jack Morley down at third man now. Good to see Jack just rubbing his hands through his hair. I think they're quite itchy. They're woolen, the caps.
Right.
I think they'd be quite itchy or scratchy.
When it gets hot.
I mean, they might be quite warm as well in cold weather, so that might be a bonus. Not many people in shirt sleeves today. Couple of pairs of shorts in the permanent temporary stand, I can see. Good for you, sir. In comes Pat Brown then, bowls to Stewart, who gets a length delivery and just pushes it out into the offside, and they decline the single.
The field is spread.
Yeah, it's very much spread, isn't it? I did good spot that from, yeah. The only man who's not on the boundary, really, is Wayne Madsen, apart from the bowler and the keeper.
Yeah.
He's at mid-off, but he's quite deep.
Well, Guest is halfway to the boundary, isn't he? Fielding to the keeper.
Yeah, I think
You wouldn't want to be much closer than that to Pat Brown.
No, he's not going to stand up to Brown. He crouches down now, and Brown's on his way in once more. Bowls to Stewart, and Stewart goes back and drives, and he's found a gap, has he, in the field? He has. I've no idea how he's managed a terrific placement, but he has found a gap in between Lewis Rees and David Lloyd, who are on the offside boundary. Neither of them are necessarily the quickest fielders, but well, this close to the T20 starting, you don't want to be putting in a dive in a game where you're probably going to win, but to prevent a couple of runs, and they didn't. Stewart moves to 33. 226 for 8. Brown is in. Stewart again punches this into the offside, but this time it's very close to Lewis Rees, and they don't take the run.
Yeah,
It's a very strange holding pattern this game's in at the moment.
it's indeed, yeah. I'm trying to get into Grant Stewart's head there. Maybe he's thinking about T20 at this point. He's facing a great white ball bowler in Pat Brown, isn't he? T20 bowler, so there we go. A stern test.
We've always wondered why Pat, I must ask him sometime when we get to speak to him properly, but why he doesn't try the old back of the hand and all that kind of stuff with the red ball. It must be worth popping one in every now and again.
It's a great point. I mean, not even once an innings, you know, he's bowled.
He's bold
45 balls
Yeah,
at this point.
He's bold enough
Just
to
put it in there once as an absolute surprise.
he's on his way in again now from the City end. Bowls to Stewart, short delivery through to Brooke Guest. There's that one for the over, says umpire Shan McGann. This, says Anthony from here, unlike my eyesight, he says, has been very impressive. What a way to go into half term if we get this final wicket, brackets or 2. Who would have predicted this? Well, yeah, no, you're right. I think we can chuck all the predictions out of the window because Division 2 appears to be upside down. Leicestershire top, Derbyshire would go second, and Glamorgan a third. As Brown races in, that's driven by Stewart up towards the members' pavilion. That looks like Caleb Jewell in the far distance doing the fielding, but there was no urgency to the fielding because the batters weren't running.
Last ball of the over.
Got to come in now, haven't they?
I mean, they're just protecting the boundaries then in that case, are they? Just thinking, well, perhaps Stewart is going to tee off whatever happens, but the suggestion he's not taking that run.
Will it just bat sensibly here?
Yeah.
Clip one into the leg side or just drop one into the offside? There's a single anywhere he wants it.
We run one to the wicket keeper at this point.
Short delivery, no, length delivery, and he's clipped it into the leg side. Unless it goes for 4, Stewart will be on strike at the start of the next over. It doesn't go for 4 because it's fielded by Chappell, and that was all very strange. 227 for 8. Stewart moves on to 34. Deficit is also 34. And that made no sense at all to me. But there we go. I'm sure a captain who's already marshalled his troops to 5 wickets this morning has a plan. What that plan is, I'm not entirely certain. And I don't think Pat Brown's going to get another over, if I'm honest.
No, that wasn't a successful one. Single off it, but... Sorry, they had the 4, didn't they, between the two fielders and the offside as well. So, yeah, Morley will continue from this end. 1 for 14 from his 8 overs. To the last wicket to fall, Matt Parkinson, LBW. Almost apologetically pushing forward to... We've trapped in front there. 227 for 8.
Lloyd bowls, and that's pushed out into the offside. Fielded by Pat Brown.
I don't understand either side at this point. So Grant Stewart's taken a single off the first ball
of the spinner, of the off spinner.
Is he protecting Nathan Gilchrist from the quick stuff, maybe?
Potentially, I suppose, yeah.
Because otherwise...
Yeah, there could be no other explanation, really. 228 for 8. Lloyd bowls, and Gilchrist clips it into the leg side. They're going to go for a single. So the single, which might have been to protect him so he can face all bowling from the spinner. First ball, second ball, they've taken a single, and he's back at the non-strikers end again. Cricket is a baffling game.
I was going to say, this is a case in point.
Very baffling game. Lloyd bowls, that looks a little bit quicker, and it's driven back to him by Stewart. Fields off his own bowling, and as Dal warming up. I think we've seen the end of Pat Brown.
If you explained, even to someone that had a vague grasp of cricket, what's going on here, you find it difficult.
That one's clipped into the leg side by Stewart, fielded by Rees. Yeah, no, they say, well, I don't watch it because it's too complicated. Well, it isn't that complicated, but it's very difficult to explain this because Derbyshire will bat, now the fields come in.
Yeah.
To stop Stewart from taking a single at the end of the over, so that Gilchrist will have to face the first ball from Anuj Dal, assuming it is him who's going to bowl the next over. In the meantime, with the over rate at +1, there's no urgency out there. So there could be a long discussion, a lengthy discussion between, I was going to say Stewart, between Madsen, I got my Italians mixed up, Madsen and Guest, and they brought Anderson up as well now, and they're bringing Harry Kame in, and Jack Morley's been told he's got to come in as well. So he'll either loft it over the field, and it might not be a bad idea to try and tempt him into a big shot.
Yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised if he goes for this.
In which case, there's an opportunity that he might miscue it, I suppose. 32 runs still before Derbyshire. Oh, no, there's a big appeal for a leg before wicket. Oh, David Lloyd went for the second appeal as well then, but umpire Pratt wasn't impressed. He went for the big shot.
Didn't look like a very convincing appeal from here, but
no. He went for the second one with
He
the
did.
arms moving, like vibrating. Come on.
Great appeal.
Yeah.
Oh, actually closer than I thought.
Not a bad shout. Lloyd is in again, and he clips it up towards Anderson, who has a shy at the stumps. Grant Stewart gets in, and the whole plan of the last 5 minutes is turned to dust because Stewart has kept the strike. He's protecting Gilchrist. They need 31 more to make Derbyshire bat again at 230 for 8. Stewart's moved on to 36 with that single.
I would say fair play to Grant Stewart and Nathan Gilchrist here, because all too easy to
Defiance, it's good.
to give up the ghost here, but partnership of 47 now. Stewart has 36, Gilchrist has 12. Delaying the inevitable maybe, but inevitable it is.
It's covered in dust as well after getting out the dive to make sure he got in. Martin Anderson's throw, I don't think, even if it had hit, it would have sent Stewart back to the changing rooms. Potentially the last pair out there. We still don't really know, and we will know if and when a wicket falls and everybody walks off.
Yeah, as you say, there's no one we can see padded up.
No.
From a Ken point of view.
Caleb Jewell's just left the field temporarily. I see him walking up the steps into the changing rooms. Anuj Dal is coming back. At the moment, Derbyshire have got 2 mid-offs. That can't last for long. Wayne Madsen, see again, look at the field. It is spreading. There's leg side. There's a man at mid-wicket. There's a man at square leg. I assume there's a long leg. There is. He's being told to go round a bit, everybody. And there's a man at long on as well. So
2 in the car park.
Well, that's as good a place as any, given what happened in the previous over. Here comes Dal then, bowls, and Stewart clips it into the leg side and takes a single. Dal isn't as express pace as Pat Brown. He's unlikely to damage you in a way that might keep you out for a while. It'll hurt, but I think if you get hit by Pat Brown, it could be you could be out for a spell if you don't get it right.
This feels pretty sensible, doesn't it? From Stewart, having scratched our heads and said we couldn't understand it, it does actually make some sense. I think.
I'm also not suggesting that Pat Brown goes out onto a cricket field trying to hurt people. That was anything but. Here comes Dal then, bowling to Nathan Gilchrist, who plays and misses at that one. Ball goes through to the keeper. Dal feels most likely, and he picked up 4 wickets in the first innings. He's got 1 this morning. He bowled Harry Finch. There was a little element of luck about it. Clear play on to the stumps, but 1 for 25 from his 9 overs and 2 balls. Anuj Dal. Gloucestershire going very slowly in their pursuit of 350 at Wantage Road as Dal is in, bowls to Gilchrist, and that one's pushed up to mid-off. They're 12 without loss. Well, after 4 overs, not that slowly. In fairness, it's a target that is unattainable, I would suggest. Worcestershire now 6 down, still 200 runs shy of their target of 327. Sorry, 109 for 1. They need another 309 runs. That would be some victory in the game against Essex at the Oval. As Dal is in, Gilchrist pushes it out into the offside. Kame fields. And there's no run in Yorkshire now. 230 for 6. They need another 233 to beat Nottinghamshire at Headingley in the first division. Again, that seems a little fanciful. Today, the 3rd T20 international between England and the West Indies takes place at Chelmsford. England here on Friday in a ODI, as that one is guided by Gilchrist for a boundary down to the wide third man region. He moves on to 16. That was nicely played by Gilchrist. 235 for 8. The deficit just 26 now. So the very real prospect is starting to rear its ugly head that Derbyshire might have to bat for a second time. They won't mind too much as long as they're not held up by the weather. At the moment it's holding. As Dal bowls and Gilchrist plays and misses. Ball goes through to Guest. It's the end of the over. 235 for 8. This tradition is slowly beginning to wear a bit thin of the home commentator calling his team home, or the potentially winning commentator. Pat Brown is going to come back, but this time from the racecourse end, with the wind just dying down a little bit out there. I think we can just risk another notch or two on the effects microphone now. Trees away to our right, which is the west, are still blowing, but no worse than they were yesterday. Far end, they seem to be moving around. And we now have all the fielders, bar a couple, on the boundary's edge. Near enough. Lewis Rees is at mid-off. Nick Potts in the covers. Blair Tickner's still walking around the boundary. He went off for his lunch about half an hour ago, feeling that the end was nigh as the sun threatens to come out. Wayne Madsen's coming down to long on. There must be a long off as well, is that? No, there's a mid-off, beg his pardon. 3 men on the leg side boundary, 4 including the long leg, as this is a short delivery. Takes it on and he's caught behind, is he? No. Pat Brown is convinced. Brooke Guest looks quite convinced. Grant Stewart is going nowhere, and umpire Pratt says not out. Wayne Madsen loses his cap as he went to run in and celebrate with his teammates. He's got a look of incredulity on his face. The Derbyshire skipper. Grant Stewart survives. 235 for 8 it remains. Partnership of 52 now between these two. So well done to them. Pat Brown shakes his head as he walks back towards the top of his mark. I can't lip read, so unfortunately I can't see what he was saying to Wayne Madsen. Around the wicket he comes to Stewart. Short delivery, big swing from Grant Stewart. Misses by distance, really. Bounces before it reaches Brooke Guest behind the stumps. He's got a backstop, everybody. There is a backstop there. Right near the title sponsors board at the far end in front of the permanent temporary stand at the far end of the ground. As Brown is in again. This one is in the air, but it's going to evade all the fielders on the offside. It's going to go and run away to the boundary as well. Lewis Rees won't catch it, and Stewart picks up another boundary, moves to 41. 239 for 8 now. 22 runs the deficit. Yesterday, Leicestershire's margin of victory was big, but it was an innings and 3 runs as Lancashire were bowled out for 248 in their second innings, so we might be in for a similar scenario possibly here. Morgan did have to bat again. They were forced to go out and make 8 runs to win by 10 wickets against Middlesex, so don't panic. Brown bowls on. There's a big heave at that one from Stewart. Good stop by Brooke Guest, actually, because there was an inside edge on that one, which changed its direction. And as a result, he had to change his direction to stop the ball. Did so successfully. 239 for 8 it remains. Stewart is just got to be wary of pulling something, heaving at these balls as violently as he is at the moment. Brown is in. He takes a step into the leg side and clubs it down the ground to Lewis Rees at long off, who does the fielding. 239 for 240 for 8. I think Stewart will move on to. Or did they get 2 there? They did. 239 for 8. Stewart moves on to 41. I thought they only got a single.
Dave Fletcher now in his 4th great hour of commentating, more or less solo on this.
Well, it just means I can just send this chunk of commentary for the awards at the end of the
Oh,
season.
what a great idea. Absolutely right.
I don't think so.
You've won it once, you're due, Dave. Come on. They can't ignore you again.
I just feel like I've won it once. I don't want to push my luck. they might revisit 2016 and take it off me. Brown around the wicket to Stewart, who takes a step into the leg side, and then I've no idea what that shot was. A pull hook type shot out to Jack Morley on the mid-wicket boundary, and he's got a single off the last ball, and Pat Brown's not a happy man. He never looks happy on a cricket field, to be fair, Pat Brown. I think he's still thinking about that appeal for a caught behind off the first delivery of that over.
Yeah, I noticed he took a slightly circuitous route to make sure he got as close as possible to Grant Stewart after that.
Just get me cap.
Right,
This is the way I always go to get me cap.
Absolutely. But say I like a bit of feist from a fast bowler.
Yes,
So
it's part of their whole reason for living, isn't it? Really. I just shied clear of using any French there. 21 more runs, and Derbyshire will have to bat for a second time. Here comes Anuj Dal from the city end, bowls to Stewart, who drives up towards mid-off. He's quite deep. You may not be surprised to know, given that it's Grant Stewart who was on strike. He picks up a single, moves to 43. 241 for 8, 20 more. For a sort of hollow, what's the word I'm looking for now? It's gone completely. It'll come back to me. Possibly after this next delivery from Anuj Dal, who bowls to Gilchrist, who goes back and pushes it out into the offside. Harry Kame does the fielding. It's a hollow moral victory, I think was what I was trying to say. And failing dismally. I'll cut that bit out when I send the tape in. Oh dear. I told the newsreader I said we'll be finished by 1 o'clock. I'm not sure that we will now. 41 for 8. Dal is in and bowls. That's turned into the leg side by Gilchrist.
I did the same thing with our presenter on our morning show, saying it at midday. Think I'll be speaking to you at 12:30, but
Will Dal
Ken will be bowled out very
Will Dal
shortly.
down now?
Yeah, exactly. he just finished my report with, "We'll talk to you at 1 then, mate."
Yeah, they know, don't they? They know. We all get very excited. Not exciting. There is Dal bowling to Gilchrist, who goes back and pushes the ball into the offside.
But yeah, 58 partnership for the final wicket here.
Starting to get messages. What on earth is good here? Dear BBC.
Yeah. Why, oh, why, oh, why?
Yeah. We'll be all right. How about bowling at the stumps, says Kirk. Everyone's a critic. In comes Dal. Bowls at the stumps, and it's defended by Gilchrist. Nope, not fielded cleanly by Zach Chappell. There's now a plastic bag, I think it is, just blowing across the field. Somebody will be annoyed by that in a moment. Put it in his pocket. It's gone past Wayne Madsen. It's hit Wayne Madsen. No, it hasn't. It's behind Wayne Madsen. My whole depth perception disappeared then. Which is a worry for the drive home. 2 slips in place as Dal comes in and bowls to Gilchrist, who plays and misses at that one. Goes through to broadcast. It was the final ball of the over. 71 to go today. And if the weather stays as it is, we'll get them all in.
Very good point. Yes.
Yeah, lots of time.
Don't
in
worry about the
game.
weather. It's all going to be fine.
Yeah, no chance of a shower, and yeah.
Just checking how far these two have got to go to get the 10th wicket record. It's a long way.
It's only the 9th wicket, though, isn't it?
Oh, of course it is, because I was thinking it's the end of the game. So, yeah, good
So-
point.
so-
Not so far.
Excellent. There we go. There's something to play for. Stewart has heaved this ball into the leg side from the first ball of a new Pat Brown over, and that's gone for 6 as well, out towards the old scoreboard. That was very T20, by the way.
Yeah.
He moves to 49. Excellent effort
a colossal
from
shot.
him. What did he make the other week?
182.
Well, there we go. Yeah. We're not going to give up hope yet.
14 now.
Only
the deficit.
14. 3 blows.
Goodness me.
3 blows, and Derbyshire will have to bat again. The world's gone mad. Now, fair play to these two. I've got nothing but admiration for anybody who sticks at it. Brown comes in and bowls. Oh, and he almost chops on. He gave himself room by stepping into the leg side, quite a long way into the leg side, Stewart, and then went for the extravagant cut shot that came off the bottom edge of his bat into the ground and missed the stumps.
Tickner's down. It's joined Wayne Madsen now in front of us. Do you think he's had his lunch now, or is he sadly...
He looked starving when he left.
He did. Well, obviously, he's built like a racing greyhound.
He's got Nye Donald with him.
Worried about him now.
As Pat Brown comes in again and bowls, and Stewart gives himself room and almost chops on again. Bottom edge into the ground, misses leg stump, goes through to Brooke Guest. And there are smiles still on the faces of Wayne Madsen, of Blair Tickner, of Nye Donald, who I can see. I think that's Yusuf bin Naeem, who's with them as well. Because they sort of know that they're going to win as long as it doesn't rain. But it's been getting irritating out there. There are a lot of fielders who haven't got any mates to talk to because they're all on the boundary's edge. I mean, there is nobody who isn't on the boundary's edge, barring the bowler, the 2 batters and the wicketkeeper as Brown bowls. This one's gone in the air, out towards third man, taken. Good catch, good running catch at the far end of the ground. That is a terrific effort. And that might be that. Derbyshire may well have won this game. 14 runs shy of making them bat again, and Wayne Madsen shakes the umpire's hand. We're not going to see Jake ball. Really good catch down in the far distance. Pat Brown picks up his 2nd wicket, and Derbyshire have won this. Oh, it's gone off the board.
An innings of 14 runs.
Thank you very much indeed. Innings and 14 runs for Derbyshire, which takes them, or keeps them, in 2nd place in the 2nd division of the County Championship. Good running catch at the far end. I'm waiting for confirmation of who it was, but it's not coming. It was Nick Potts again. He's taken 2 catches this morning. That was a terrific catch by Potts in the distance. And a 2nd wicket, as I say, for Pat Brown. His resistance, bless him, goes. That's Grant Stewart, of course, who makes 49. And I think we are going to we're going to wrap up reasonably quickly here. We've all got homes to go to. No, we've all got jobs to do actually. 49 from Grant Stewart. Nathan Gilchrist finished on 16. No Jake Ball, unsurprisingly. He looked in a bad way in the first innings, so we haven't seen him. And that wraps up that. Derbyshire, well, 23 points from the match. You can only get 24 in a match, and they've taken 23 of them. Kent, I'm afraid, to take just 2 from the game. Derbyshire remain in 2nd place. I was going to say in pursuit of Leicestershire. I'm not sure they're in pursuit of anything, but they will move on to the T20 now before a couple of games midway through that competition in the Championship. Away to Gloucestershire and then at Chesterfield against Lancashire. 247 all out effectively are Kent, and disappointing for them. If you have any final words, Matt Cole, speak them now.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for your company, for the hospitality here at Derbyshire. Seeing your team have been so brutal, but there we are. An innings defeat, 4 consecutive defeats for Kent, heading to the bottom of County Championship Division 2. The T20 will come as a blessed relief, I think, for them to try and change the momentum. They start at Bristol on Friday evening. We'll have commentary on DAB and online as well. But from me, we'll sign off with a real humbling defeat for Kent. Absolutely dominated by Derbyshire, who've been excellent across the 4 days.
They have, and this is a team, the new Derbyshire, this is a team that is completely different to the one we've seen in the last 2 seasons. I think that's fair to say. Thanks to Matt, he's been great company. Thanks to Blair Tickner, who came up every day as well. It's always good to hear from inside the change room. Thanks to you for listening. Derbyshire back in action on Friday night. Leicestershire away. First game in the T20 Blast. We'll hopefully see you for that one. If you can't make it, you know where we are. Always. We're always there. We're always there. And we will see you on Friday. In the meantime, thanks very much for your company. And we will sign off with news that Derbyshire have won this game by an innings and 14 runs.